Welcome back to the Wandcast. Of course, it's the chapter-by-chapter reread of the Harry Potter series. You all know that. But it's with a two-parter of Craft Crew on the side this time. Because it's a two-parter. I'm Aaron, and I'm here with my two favorite Hufflepuffs, Jade and Nate. Hello, Jade and Nate.
Hello.
How are you?
All right.
Yeah? Has anything changed lately? It's been such a long time since we sat down last.
I'm actually seated 2 inches to the left of where I was moments ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Major change in
pretty big
perspective over
changes.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully that helps you on this episode because we are going to continue to exposit Chapter 10 of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Marauder's Map.
I don't think it will.
Because,
but
look,
I'm in for it.
Here's the thing. You can't have an episode about a chapter called the Marauder's Map if you don't even talk about the Marauder's Map. That's probably not going to be a great episode.
So somebody's going to be a little upset with our last one. Like, what the hell, guys?
Yeah. But also, JK, let's get to the fucking chapter.
Yeah.
Or get to the title.
There was at least a chapter's worth of stuff to talk about before the map happened. So...
yeah. Well, hopefully it comes up soon.
There's only 22 chapters in the book. Just make it 23. It's pretty easy. We just did it.
We literally just found it. We just did it.
We've done the work for you guys. Just be like, there was 23.
Welcome to chapter 10.5.
Yes.
The Marauder's Map, part. Duh.
She probably just didn't have a name for the first part, and she was like, I'll just shove it on the...
Aaron just did that. It's all done already. She could do it now if she wants. Just republish the official version.
That's a good point. It can't be part duh if the first part isn't part ugh.
Part 1.
Yeah.
Well, that's, again, something we're going to have to come up against because we did not say that in the last episode.
Yeah. It's too bad you can't edit audio.
Surprise 2-parter.
It is now Saturday morning, and it is the trip to Hogsmeade, and therefore Harry says goodbye to Ron and Hermione and then heads up to Gryffindor Tower to spend all day alone, because he's the only one above year 3 that isn't going to Hogsmeade.
Spend some time with that broom polishing kit.
Weird.
I mean, the broom's gone, but I mean, it's still good stuff.
I would argue the broom never left. ... Well, before Harry can get to the Gryffindor common room, Fred and George psst Harry over to them. I realize that Harry is friends with Ron, and Harry has a history with Fred and George. I don't know if I would say Fred and George are Harry's friends, and therefore, I don't know how willingly I would walk into an empty classroom with Fred and George.
See, I think you're different than me, because all the things I know about Fred and George tell me if Fred and George are nodding my way, I'm going. What are we doing? What are we up to, guys?
I would be a little bit worried, though.
I'm along for the ride, though.
You got to think about the scale of fuckery that these two get up to. Like, they prank their brothers and their sister because, I mean, they have to. They're obliged, right? They're family. But to a guy like Harry and the level of fuckery that they get up to, it doesn't equate. Like, if I were Harry, I wouldn't worry about them pranking me. I'd certainly be curious. Like, good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to go see what they're up to.
But I would for sure assume that we're doing something to somebody else, or,
they want you to come see what they're up to. I don't think there's a bucket of paint above the door when I go in.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's just my take, though.
Mine too.
Because it was an invitation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It wasn't like he turned the corner and then was like, they're standing on the other side of the corridor looking menacingly.
Do I think that could happen? 100% yes. But I don't think the Weasleys would be like, hey, Harry, we're going to come fuck with you. I think they would probably just fuck with him because he's kind of like family now.
Yeah, this seems like 2 older kids who do some shit that I think is pretty fucking cool. I don't have the guts to do most of the time.
Okay.
But they're asking me to come with them, so I'm going, let me hop in the back seat.
Okay.
I will absolutely be there.
Hell yeah.
Well, look, long story short, I'm wrong. Because they just tell Harry that they're there to give him an early Christmas present.
Badass.
So yeah, like, I'm wrong right away, but anyway.
But because it's Fred and George.
Exactly.
The thought would cross your mind.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that is something a smart person would do.
It would be every time. I could be 20-year friends with these guys, and I'd be like, why do you want me to come over?
You know who didn't
Why
have
did you
that
send
thought?
me an owl?
Harry.
That's true. Hey,
Harry didn't have that thought.
I thoroughly enjoy their shit talking and the way that they
yeah.
treat Percy.
Yeah.
So I think most of the time I just be like, even if we're just here to so I could just absorb some of that energy, I'm here for it. Like I want to hear whatever you guys are cooking with. I'm really interested.
Indubitably, Jade. Well put.
Absolutely. I love it.
Now, I would maybe argue that I'm proven a little bit more right immediately because they just hand him a very worn piece of parchment with nothing on it.
Haha, pranked you.
But not even like good paper. It's old.
Corking
It's
good
worn.
fun. I'm done now. It's just fun to do.
Maybe they just thought he needed some school supplies because he's poor.
Maybe
Actually, he's not poor.
maybe they
he's actually
thought-
very rich.
Maybe they thought he needs a therapist and they're like, write your thoughts down on this parchment, my guy.
You need to start journaling.
This is them fucking with Harry now, right? There's no red paint above the door, but this is secretly the biggest tab of acid that's ever been magically created. And they're like, it's a health supplement, buddy. Have fun while we're gone.
Okay.
We'll be back in 12 hours.
Again, if Fred and George Weasley just come up to me and say, put this in your mouth, I'm leaving.
That's when you worry,
I'm
right?
leaving.
See, okay. That,
Yeah.
I would probably be like, did you?
But also,
Yeah.
it's not going to hurt. You're going to have a perfectly wonderful trip while you're all alone in a beautiful space. You're going to be fine.
Actually, Nate, I think you might have potential to be a seer because I would argue that's exactly what they give Harry, a way to have a perfect trip and to have a great time along the way.
And you, my friend, are a painter of words.
Fred and George tell Harry that this parchment is the secret to their success, the instrument of their glory, and Harry's needs are finally greater than theirs. Well, they stole this parchment because Harry says, what is it? And they tell the whole backstory. They were in Filch's office their first year. They stole it from a drawer labeled confiscated and highly dangerous.
Okay.
And first-year Hogwarts students stole it easily. Yes, Nate.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because we referenced this in the last episode, so it works for this episode. In A Christmas Story, the teacher opens the drawer and it's just full of shit that she has taken from all the kids over the years, or maybe just that fucking year. Who knows?
Could have been that week.
But it's not labeled. And that's important.
No, yes.
Yeah.
Because if Filch has something labeled, this is all the shit that I've taken away from the kids, somebody is definitely going to try and get in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like the statute of limitations protects me at this point.
Again, you have the floor, sir.
I have been in the forbidden drawer of one of my teachers at the Christian school where
I thought you were legitimately going to admit to a crime.
No, I mean, I got in the forbidden drawer. That's when you're a kid. That is a fucking crime.
True.
That's about as bad as it gets.
Very. I will not ask too many specifics, but plus or minus 12 years of age.
Minus.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is 100% a crime then.
Yeah, and
that was illegal.
It
What
was
you did was
simply
illegal.
I didn't bring it to school, but my buddy had this little noise box. It was like a Detroit Tigers noise box. And it would be like, you'd hear the baseball, the crack, and then you could hear the little speak. And there's one button on it, no screen, nothing like that. That's all it did. But I had it and it went off and then it got taken. So I lost my friend's thing.
So you had to go get it back.
I fucking got it back.
Yeah.
I don't know if the teacher ever noticed it was gone or what the situation was, but it never came back to me. So
I just want to say, even if Filch had tried to lock this drawer, he is a squib. And so any of the students in the school who go past, I mean, Hermione learned Alohomora in the first year.
yeah.
So any of the kids who've gone through first year can break through any of his fucking locks.
Yeah, you would think he would have like an anti-magic lock.
Yeah.
What exactly is it that Alohomora does?
Unlocks things.
I'm sorry. I can
So what-
Alohomora.
What you're saying is if I grab my wand and I go, Alohomora. Yeah,
Exactly.
You're saying, you were asking, what does it do?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah, it opens things.
No.
It unlocks things.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, it doesn't open things.
One more time, just so I'm sure.
Alohomora.
Okay.
We got it.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, George takes out his wand and he touches the parchment and says, I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Yeah, there's no sound effect for that.
And we are greeted with the message. Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, purveyors of aids to magical mischief makers, are proud to present the Marauders map. And I am unintelligent, so I had to look up that Messrs. Is the plural version of Mr.
Yeah, so we have this map in woven throw blanket form, 50 by 60. It's pretty big. It's hanging up on the wall.
We described it in the last
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
so we don't need to go too deep.
Sorry, that's right. I forget. But so I've been looking at this Messrs thing for a minute, and finally I asked Jade, what the hell does that mean? She's like, it's just multiple misters. Because if you say Mr. and then add an S to it,
Yeah, Misters.
now it's Mrs.
Oh.
And so they couldn't just go plural of Mr. And so they had to come up with this fucking word. Yeah. Blew my mind.
Well, and again, I don't think I've ever heard that word
Me either.
other
no.
than when I have either read these books or watched the movies.
Well, and that's the thing. I've only ever seen it in writing.
the grammar lesson's over. Sorry, this wouldn't be grammar. That would be a vocab lesson. That's over. Because this is... The words are not important. The words are not important. This is a fucking magical map of Hogwarts. The entire goddamn castle that shows where people are, where they're going, what they're doing. In real time, it has secret passages, many of which lead out of the castle right to Hogsmeade.
Yeah, it's fucking badass. And we just got into it exactly the same way Harry would have. Like, oh, I wonder what Messrs is. Let's talk about that for 5 minutes. Oh, shit. We can sneak anywhere. That's cool, too.
Yeah, Harry's like, what is Messrs? Fred and George are like, Harry, look at the map.
I mean, I will say they worded this very lyrically. Like, it's very like for
yes.
whoever wrote it, they weren't messing around when they fucking wrote it. But my point from a minute ago that I stopped myself, I just want to say, Fred and George were like, hey, your need is greater than ours. We've gotten everything we can get from this map. No, the fuck you have not. If you guys are skilled troublemakers, this map is not just a fucking map, okay? It shows you where everybody is. And them giving this to Harry is a giant thing because you could absolutely be using this the whole time you're there. I would not part with this until my last day at Hogwarts.
It shows how responsible Fred and George are with the fact that, hey, we are mischief makers. However, we're not really going to hurt anybody. So it's strictly labeled just mischief, right? It's not serious trouble. And second, this map was written by these misters, Mr. times 4.
Yeah.
Don't know. We'll figure that out later. But they are the purveyors of aids to magical mischief makers everywhere. And what this shows is that Fred and George respect what this map was created for. And so they're not just keeping it. Harry needs help right now. He's got to figure some shit out. He has got some mischief to make.
Harry is a young mischief maker in the making. And this map needs Harry as much as Harry needs this map
100%. And Fred and George see that, and so they're going to give it to Harry because he can do the most with it right now.
We've said this about Ron a lot, but as this book series goes on, the whole fucking Weasley family is the most ride or die family I've ever been exposed to in my life. That's the words I'm choosing on how to describe that. God damn it, I love the Weasleys. And not only they don't even just give Harry the map, they give him the full tutorial. They immediately talk about secret passages. Filch knows about them, and they say there's one here under the Whomping Willow. Don't go to that one. It's under the Whomping Willow.
You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Probably just a booby trap.
But there is actually a passage that leads right into Honeydukes. The entrance just so happens to be located right outside this classroom.
So Honeydukes, the shop that they've been talking about.
The candy
shop at the town that Harry can't go to. And there was a fucking secret passage that leads right to it.
Right outside.
Are you fucking kidding? Harry's
right outside.
All the things I want, you've just given to me on this page.
What I think is funny is that because of this, that Fred and George sat down and they were like, okay, we know Harry hasn't been able to go to Hogsmeade. That fucking idiot went up to McGonagall and told her that he didn't have a signed form.
Before talking to us.
Self-fucking-report, dude.
Like, realistically, George, he can go to Hogsmeade, right? You know this. I know this.
We can make this happen.
He's not fucking barred from going there, even though he fucking made a misstep, a giant misstep in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
How could we write this for him? Let's give him the fucking map.
That's what Nate's saying.
Yeah.
Harry's needs are greater because Harry's a fucking idiot.
On top of that.
Needs help.
He needs this aid.
I think
Absolutely.
this goes even deeper.
Oh.
I think this goes right down to where are we going to be when we give Harry the map? We fucking know Harry. Harry gets up to shit. However, this is all pretty heavy and maybe a little out of his league. He may not sneak out without prompting. So we're going to stand right outside the entrance to this fucking secret tunnel when we give him the map and go, not only can you do this, Harry, but the door is right here.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see nobody's around us.
Yeah,
nobody's
no one's
here
around.
to catch you.
We're leaving. In 10 minutes, we're fucking gone. And the door is here. If you leave now, you can make it there.
Yeah.
And be fine.
That's what I'm saying. I just love the idea of the two of them.
It's awesome.
Like hanging out in the common room after everyone went to bed and they're like, did you hear what Ron said that Harry did today?
Yeah.
Harry went up McGee and told her that, okay, we got to fix this for him because he's being a fucking idiot.
Amateur mistake.
Yeah.
You know, you do it once, you never do it again.
So like, okay, before the next Hogsmeade trip, like what you're saying, we're going to meet him outside this room because we know he's going to head back up to the Gryffindor Tower after he says goodbye to everybody.
And mopey and
yeah.
Well, they heard about the first trip.
That's what
they heard Harry was, stuck here on the first trip.
They know that and they know where he's going to go after he says goodbye. Yeah.
Look, Fred and George are amazing. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But they even give credit to the creators. They talk about how much they owe Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs and call them noblemen. Direct quotes from them, noblemen. And, they seem like it. But it's interesting that you would call noblemen self-described mischief makers.
I think that what it speaks to is that your ideas of what makes a man noble aren't necessarily what societies are.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fred and George, like what we're talking about. They're great people at their core.
Yeah.
On the surface, they're fucking troublemakers and they're a big pain in the ass, but they're good people. And I think that's what they see in the Marauders as well.
Because what's the byproduct of mischief?
Joy.
Exactly. Someone's laughing. Maybe the majority of people are annoyed, but God damn it, he had a really good time.
And this is why you love me, but you also get real annoyed with me sometimes.
Same time.
Because mischief is what it is. But there's joy there.
Everyone knows there's 3 types of good. There's lawful good, and then on the other side of it, there's the Weasleys being chaotic good.
Hell yeah.
My favorite kind of good.
They let Harry know, very important, cover your steps, CYA, everyone knows that. Mischief managed to wipe the map, and Harry starts thinking about the possibilities that this map leads him. Yeah, obviously. But he remembers a very important quote from Mr. Weasley.
Oh.
And he said in the last book, actually, never trust anything that can think for itself if you can't see where it keeps its brain.
Oddly specific.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what he means because, Aaron, I can't see exactly where you keep your brain, but I can see where you keep your brain.
Mr. Weasley is a wizard who works in Muggle studies.
Ah, okay. Boom. There it is.
Computers, especially in the 80s, are coming up. They're starting to think for themselves. That is a very scary thing for regular people, let alone wizards who don't trust any type of technology.
You can trust people. You can trust animals, i.e., but magical objects and weird shit. Just like this map, that's how it relates. It's like you can't trust it.
But also, if I were Harry, I'd be like, well, your children, who have also probably had this drilled into their heads, have been using this for like 4 years, and they've been fine. So it's fine.
Yeah. Well, and that does come up later as we discuss the history of the map. But yeah, it is an important quote, but I would also argue that maps don't think. This map isn't thinking. It's just showing what happens.
Yeah, but where's its brain, Aaron?
It doesn't have a brain. It's not thinking. It's a map. It's a magical map. There's no brain, so therefore there's no thought.
Say your next note, and then we'll discuss what you just said to me.
Harry decides the map is not dangerous, and he heads immediately to the One-Eyed Witch, pulls out the map, and the map gives him instructions on how to open the witch's hump.
Almost like the map knew that Harry was there and wanted to do something and is reacting to the stimuli.
Yeah.
Like it's thinking about what's going on and responding.
Yeah. Reaction is not thought, though. When the doctor hits your knee and your leg moves, you didn't think your leg to move.
It literally
just moved.
Shows a picture of Harry.
Yes, saying the spell.
And tapping the witch with his thing. That is not just like a program. That is a original thing that just popped onto the map because of what is happening actively.
Yeah.
It is reacting to stimuli around it.
Okay.
Which I would argue means that it's thinking in some way.
I would like to argue more about that, but I think this is going to go over much better and be less of an argument, more of a discussion if we do it over beer.
All right.
Because everyone knows beer helps everything not become an argument.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get some beer.
Get me feistier. That's gonna
We're
work.
gonna take a little bit
Now
of a
that I've
break.
had my first sip, I would argue that it does, Aaron.
Well, we can argue about that over break. We will be back right after this. I have one question. What are we drinking?
Today we are drinking creme brulee from Ch.10 Brewing Company.
Okay, announcer Nate.
I'm excited to try this one because
MC Nate.
I'm a pretty big fan of creme brulee in general. So
Oh, are you one of those few people in the world who likes creme brulee?
You might not know it, Aaron. You say Nate with his beach body and his diamond chiseled abs and his long hair. He's not a dessert guy, but I'm a pretty big dessert guy.
Nate has no idea what sugar tastes like.
Never once had it.
Never had a single carb.
But we are having creme brulee from Ch.10 Brewing Company. Beers with distinct personalities, which I really like. This stout has earned medals and People's Choice Awards at many festivals, made using the best freshly roasted coffee.
I can see where that would help.
I could definitely smell the coffee.
By my side.
Okay, I'm ready for this. Let's cheers.
A little bit of coffee blend is what I need.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's coffee.
That really tastes like coffee.
That is holy
That's
shit.
coffee,
That's
coffee.
Woo!
That's like a cold brew.
Yeah, a caramel cold brew.
The fun thing about vanilla is it can just ride in the back seat
It's true.
and just level things out a little
That's
bit.
why I love vanilla.
It just keeps you like when you and your friends, it's a late night, things are getting a little wild. Vanilla's sitting in the back seat going, "Hey guys, take it a little easy."
What?
Just holding things
We
down
don't
in the
want
back
cops? We had different upbringings.
We definitely did.
This is a 8.5%.
Yeah.
I think I want to try to rate this out of 10 caramelized sugars. 9.5.
9.5.
I am right there. It's similar to a beer we've either had recently or will have soon.
What makes this beer unique? Jade, what makes this beer unique to me is as you swirl it, it has the texture and kind of the viscous nature of liquid such as beer. And when you smell it, you'll notice that kind of beery, much like any other beer you've ever smelled. And
Nate?
upon taking a
One
sip,
question.
you'll notice it tastes a lot like other beers you've already had, and possibly like a lot of beers you'll have in the future, too. It's really just kind of a beery beer with kind of a beer forward profile and a beer finish. Beer. The beer's so good you can drink it with your mouth. Beer. This is going to be in the middle of someone's episode.
To me, a perfect beer is a beer that you can drink all day, any day.
I'm in a 9 range for this.
I'm also in a.
What, did you give your rating already?
I'm also in a
No.
It's great.
What kind of a number would you rate this beer?
9. It's a 9.
A 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think we should ride this right back into the chapter. Let's do this. We are back. And we are into the tunnel. Harry has gone into the tunnel and is on his way to Honeyduke's, taking about an hour. So this is a long-ass tunnel.
Yeah, I'd be positive that I was lost by now, for sure.
Oh,
I had to have taken a wrong turn.
I was saying, hopefully there's no turns, because I would be very fearful. If there was a Y at some point, yeah, I'm terrified.
It's the Bugs Bunny complex.
And I also have a problem of overcommitting. So, like, I won't turn around until I get to the dead end.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'm really hoping that there's not like a time limit of how long we're allowed to be in Hogsmeade / how long the stores are open in Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I have a terrible sense of timing. So if I don't have a watch and I'm down there and it is an hour, it'll feel like 4 to me. And I'll be like, fuck, I might as well turn around. I'm not even going to be there in time.
I was even thinking the thing of like, you mismanage your time and you don't make it to Honeyduke's. Yeah. And then they go, all right, let's go home now. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
But Candy.
How do we know how it is they get there?
How they get to Hogsmeade?
They walk.
They walk.
They just walk. Okay,
Yeah.
so feasibly, if they're just walking to town,
Yeah.
Harry should be able to keep pace with them just underground. But if he's got a straight shot, then it should take more than an hour to walk into town, which is goofy to me because there's a lot of kids going into town. And if it takes over an hour to walk there, why not just do it by magical means when those are available?
That's assuming it's a straight shot. It does say he goes on like a concrete slide at first. So, I mean, we know there's a giant lake on the grounds of Hogwarts. So there's a chance that this fucking tunnel is not a straight shot.
Right. It doesn't go straight to town. It's just connected by
It's connected,
it somehow.
but you're going
sense.
in a scenic route.
The passage was, in fact, very twisted, and it turned, and it was more like a rabbit's burrow than anything else. So it's not a straight shot. This is, and it's also a tunnel. So there's a chance he's not able to stand straight up. Like
go full pace.
Whereas, do you know what the students above ground can do? Just walk casually. Have a nice stroll.
I don't know why I just pictured Harry like Shawshank Redemption, where he's like, and Harry Potter climbed on his hands and his knees all the way to the end.
Oh yeah,
of
he would probably
tunnel.
be filthy.
Came out clean on the other side.
Went through a mile of shit and came out clean.
That's right.
Oh, it's a great line.
Good old Harry Potter.
It does say he hurried along, but he stumbled now and then because the floor was uneven. So yeah, this is not a comfortable stroll for Harry.
This is not like a cement room he's walking through. This
might be a 30 to 45 minute walk to Hogsmeade from Hogwarts above ground and roughly an hour below.
So it's kind of slow
crouching
going.
And
Yeah. Maybe later on we'll get some more logistical insight to Hogsmeade and back. He finally makes it into the Honeyduke cellar, and he can hear voices above him, and he sees the gap. He sees the gap where he can go.
Gotta shoot
Everyone's
that gap.
backs are turned. He shoots the gap, heads upstairs, and there is apparently so much inventory in Honeyduke's. Nate, yeah, it sounds like you want to say something.
I hope I know what you're going to say.
Any fucking store you've ever been in your entire life. Like specifically, I don't know why, I'm thinking of when we went to Traverse City, Mackinac. There's a lot of like locally owned shops that are in very old buildings, right?
Oh, yeah.
They have a storage area where they keep all their extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times that storage area is in an area where you're not supposed to fucking be.
Mm-hmm.
Does nobody in this town that's extremely busy and filled with students who are here looking for candy and such, does nobody notice Harry come out of this back room?
It makes it sound like there's a lot of kids in the shop, so nobody sees him walk out.
So maybe
blends
it's
right
like
in.
a blend. Okay.
My thing
I can
is,
see that.
You own an old shop. You've owned it since it opened, or not. Either way, it was probably inspected, and you never noticed. I mean, I know it blends into the ground, right? But we are wizards. And we have no idea that there's a hole in our floor that leads to Hogwarts?
You know what? The thing I said was just stupid. You are absolutely right. And it actually explains the thing I said because, no, these people obviously don't fucking know. Well, they're not paying attention. They're busy right now.
Jade is talking about the trapdoor to the cellar. It mentions that it is perfectly dusty, so when the trapdoor is shut, you can't see it. But we know that you can clean up dust with magic in a fucking instant. So,
and after you use it, the dust isn't there anymore. So this is not something you could pull off feasibly.
Well, magical trapdoor.
Okay.
Magical trapdoor.
Because magic.
Also,
I'm willing to accept that.
Who built the tunnel? Okay?
Oh, yeah.
This is Honeyduke's shop. If they built it, they would fucking know it was there. If they didn't build it and they bought it, you want blueprints. You have inspectors. We have inspectors, muggle inspectors who inspect the homes that we come into. You can't do a fucking wand spell to give you a fucking blueprint that tells you that there's a fucking trapdoor.
It's
tunnel.
candy, right?
Yeah.
One of the old professors at Hogwarts had a fucking sweet tooth. Yes, Aaron.
2 things. We know of a famous professor that has a sweet tooth and even uses it as the password to get into his office, being Albus Dumbledore.
We do,
and
do we?
Magic trapdoor. And if that trapdoor was made by Dumbledore...
Would like to propose my theory then. I think Dumbledore knows this fucking tunnel exists.
Because he made it?
I think it's for his candy fix.
Also, the Honeydew owners would probably know it is there, but don't worry about it. Because the only person who ever comes through it is Dumbledore, who they have a standing contract with.
Yeah, exactly. And if the only guy who is using the tunnel is Albus fucking Dumbledore, and he says, look, I didn't tell anybody else about this tunnel, you're going to believe him, you're going to know it's there, and you're not going to worry about it because Dumbledore can keep a fucking secret.
Yep.
He made the tunnel. I feel like the scene from Liar Liar when he wins the case in court.
Yeah.
And do you know what else? Canonically, up until this point in the book, we know that Dumbledore likes Fred and George Weasley.
Yeah.
Because in year 1, in Harry's first year, when they sing the cemetery tune to the Hogwarts welcoming song, Dumbledore gleefully listens because Fred and George were the last ones in the entire Great Hall singing. And Dumbledore was like, love that fucking tune. He's snapping along, and he knows of Fred and George Weasley.
We just fucking cracked the code, you guys.
I think Dumbledore, not only did Dumbledore make the tunnel and enchanted the trapdoor so it will never be seen, which is a little bit of a shitty move, but maybe Hogsmeade's owners are in on it.
I think they would know.
He also knows that Fred and George Weasley have been using it, but doesn't care.
Yeah.
This is a side note to something we talked about earlier that I've been like mulling about. Dumbledore knows shit all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's wondering.
Way too much.
How does he know? Okay. We talked about the paintings being able to work as a security system.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Built-in security cameras.
Dumbledore has been employing the system.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he knows shit.
Yeah.
Because he's not watching. He's not omnipresent. He just talks to the paintings and says, give me the goss from this week, guys.
I'm sorry. I want to interrupt just for a really quick split second, because through restarting this show and the last show being years ago, there's a huge time gap, but I believe the words Dumbledore knows shit.
Oh, yeah.
Were uttered on the very first episode of this podcast.
But it's always a question as to how, but I think that's how. Between the ghosts and the paintings, he knows that, hey, we have a meeting once a week where you guys gather and you report back to me any of the weird shit you saw.
Before we got super distracted with the origin of this tunnel.
Dumbledore's tunnel, you mean?
You also mentioned that how do they not see him coming out of the back? And I think it's just there's not many workers. This is a small candy shop.
Yeah, it's
so
busy.
It's like there's opportunity to sneak.
There's
opportunity
students in the store, and they could get lost and pop out of where. It's not a big deal.
It also mentions that there are so many students in Honeydukes, or Harry mentions this, that somehow he goes unnoticed. Famous Harry Potter goes unnoticed somehow in a room full of wizards.
The whole of his Hogsmeade trip, he is walking around without his invisibility cloak.
Yes.
And none of the other students notice him. Yeah. I think it's absolutely asinine, just the idea that he doesn't just have his invisibility cloak and that he doesn't just put it on.
This is just a section of the whole school, but even when Harry walks through the Great Hall with the entire school, he is fucking noticed.
Yeah.
Too.
He doesn't want to hang. He doesn't want to hang out with people in his own Gryffindor thing in the common room because he's famous and doesn't want people staring at his scar.
Not only
now, granted, those young kids are not at Hogsmeade.
Everybody in the magical world knows Harry. So all the adults who are there with their families are doing whatever during the day.
Residents.
They're also going to notice
And they've never seen him before because he's never been to Hogsmeade.
Yeah. The third idea I had is there's no way we're dealing with fucking teenagers. There's no way word doesn't spread of this immediately.
No.
Rumors are going to fucking fly. The first person that you make eye contact with is going to tell the first person they
Seamus
see.
or Dean Thomas sees you across the fucking Honeydukes.
Yeah.
Just a catch of your hair and
100%.
goes, Harry, you here?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
They
Oh.
go, oh, dude, you were actually able to make it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oi, Harry, how'd you get your permission slip signed? That's
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Exactly.
He's going to
Oh,
yell
yeah.
it across or even if he doesn't yell it, there's no way he's not seen by people that know for a fact Harry does not have a signed permission slip, including Draco Malfoy.
Ew.
That was
I'm
terrible.
just saying.
Yeah, no.
Grab your fucking invisibility
And-
cloak, Harry.
And I think me and Nate talked about this a little bit off air. It's not a large cloak.
No.
Why in God's name would that not be on your person
Yeah.
at all times?
In your pocket
At
Put it
at
in your
all
pocket.
times.
fucking times.
It's
If
just like a
you-
pocket knife, apparently, which some of our other characters from our
But
other
yeah.
shows seem to always fucking
No,
forget.
real
Ugh.
useful tool that
Yeah.
comes with you all the time, and you pull it out if you have any glimpse of needing it. You don't even question putting that thing on.
If you're a wizard, do you usually take your wand everywhere with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a wizard with a wand that you always take with you, it stands to reason that there might be other magical things you should just always have with you.
Yeah.
And I would argue, if you're going to Hogsmeade without a permission slip, take
yeah.
your invisibility cloak, Harry.
Yeah.
But look, he's made it, okay? Sins have been made. Damage has been done because
Hey, but it's done now. He's here.
yeah, hey, like
It's all in the
when he
past.
ran away from the Dursleys, we know what Harry's mindset is when it comes to trouble. Already made some trouble. What's the harm in a little bit more? So he has made it to Hogsmeade fully exposed. I know what I said. And then he surprises Ron and Hermione, who, in a very sweet moment, are literally discussing what candy they should get Harry.
That is fucking
And
awesome.
that's
in the
just
gross
really
area,
nice.
though. They aren't even
They-
in the fun.
Yeah.
They're not in the good area. Like, I'd like anything that's not this, please. And like, whoa, fucking Nate, where'd you come from?
Yeah, they are discussing blood-flavored lollipops and cockroach clusters, and Harry very clearly executes the surprise by saying that, yeah, definitely not. Don't want those things.
He missed an opportunity. He could have said, yeah, guys, I've been here the whole time.
He could have answered that because Ron thinks that he learned how to apparate, which means he could have been there the whole time. Hermione is very quick to remind him, not possible.
But at some point during his tunnel trip,
He was
could have,
outside Hogwarts grounds.
if he knew how to do it.
Yeah.
True. Well, and he tells them that there is in fact a tunnel because he lets them know all about the Marauders map. He lets them know that that's how he got there. There's secret passages
In the middle of Honeydukes.
In the middle of Honeydukes?
other students.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is-
yeah.
that is packed so full that no one notices that famous Harry Potter is there.
Also, like,
13-year-olds, man.
Fred and George respect what the map was built for, right?
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
the inscription on
Yeah.
the front of it.
Mischief makers.
Harry respects that less, apparently, because he immediately lets two people in on it. Two
Yeah.
people. Okay, Ron,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mischief maker, right?
Oh, yeah. Ron's all for it.
Hermione, though? No. I mean, yes, in the way that she's been involved with Harry and Ron and all the adventures and shit, but like otherwise, no, she just wants to get her fucking schoolwork done. She's not here to cause trouble.
The only problem Ron has with this is why didn't Fred and George give it to him?
Yeah, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, I'm actually related to you. Come on.
But we like Harry, Ron.
This this is the one hand-me-down that Ron actually wants.
The one cool thing he could have had. Yeah.
You know, this plays out exactly how anyone could have predicted it played out. Hermione argues that he needs to turn it in. Harry refuses.
Absolutely not, Hermione. Sorry.
And Hermione clarifies that he could get in trouble. He could get caught. Or worse, not expelled this time.
Oh, I was waiting for it.
Murdered.
Oh,
He
yeah,
could
well.
get murdered. Harry still refuses because he does think, what if Sirius Black knows about the secret tunnel? But he's just like, no,
well, he's obviously not in there now because I just came through that
Yeah,
motherfucker. So
and-
it's clear.
it doesn't fit my narrative. Therefore, I don't want to think about it.
It's bad, so it's not.
Yes. Speaking of bad things, the trio are quite cold because, again, Harry, not only does he not have his invisibility cloak, doesn't bring any outdoor clothing whatsoever. So,
which can be explained away a little bit better because he wasn't planning on going.
That is
right.
true.
And he went there right away.
I mean,
refuse to believe that you weren't carrying the fucking invisibility cloak, though.
Yeah. Because that should have been on him at all times. Yeah.
That would have been my first thought. What is something that I own that looks exactly like something everybody else owns? Oh, well, this is easy.
A cloak.
We go to Hogwarts with a uniformed cloak and insignia on it that I could just go grab from my room, along with the invisibility cloak, by the way.
Yeah.
And then, I'd be covered. Even if for a while you didn't have the invisibility cloak, it's cold out. Pull your fucking hood up. Wizards do this shit all the time. Hide your face mysteriously. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Just do that. It would have been so easy. I know he doesn't, so this is just whatever. But
It's mentioned it's cold. So having your hood up, he's not going to be the only one.
I'm sure a lot of people do.
Yeah.
At least keep yourself hidden if you're not going to use the invisibility cloak.
Yes.
I'm just saying, if he doesn't have the invisibility cloak, this is all moot anyways, because who the fuck is hanging out with Hermione and Ron?
That's true.
They don't have a fourth friend.
Who would be hanging out with Hermione and Ron? That's not Neville, and probably only exclusively Neville, or another older aged red-haired child being a Weasley.
That's
Ron can't hide his hair
They
because
can't
the hood got ripped off when Percy had it before him. So it's
them
just out
having
there.
a third, it doesn't matter who it is automatically Harry.
Ron kind of has other friends in like Seamus and Deed, but like there's not a lot of interaction between like Hermione and Seamus and Deed, even when she's with Harry and Ron. So it's like, yeah, look, 13-year-olds don't make good decisions, okay? I think we did, because
I refuse to believe that.
This is already a two-parter, and I refuse to make it a three-parter.
So maybe 30-year-olds don't make good decisions either.
Maybe it turns out most people are kind of just flying by the seat of their pants. Harry, Ron, and Hermione fly by the seat of their pants into the Three Broomsticks. Well, it is on Ron's suggestion that they go to the Three Broomsticks to get some butterbeer. And good on you, Ron. Get the butterbeer, my guy. Inside the Three Broomsticks, we meet Madame Rosmerta, who is a curvy woman with a very pretty face. And good on you, Ron 2.0. Ron says he'll go get the drinks.
That's the whole reason he wanted to go in there. It has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Ron knows about Madame Rosmerta, has probably heard about her from all of his older brothers.
They probably went there last time, and he was like, that. Yeah. We're going there every time we go to
That's what I mean.
Hogsmeade.
I'm sure this has been teased to him, and the tease lived up to the expectation. It gets brought up very quickly here. The butterbeer is almost worth it just by itself. It is the most delicious thing Harry has ever tasted, and it seems to heat every bit of him. I've had alcohol that does that. There is some alcohol. I have drank some that has done this to me, where it's been a bit chilly out, and boy, sometimes a beautiful, like, heated bourbon and apple cider mixture with cinnamon in it on a chilly fall day while you're about to go golf in like rainy 50-degree weather. Boy, it hits you, and it hits you good.
That's where Ron is in a vibe right now. He's like, I'll get the drinks. I'm going to go to Lady Rose Merita. By the way, Merita is, I don't know which language it is because I just now looked it up, but it's basket. So being that Miss Rose Merita is a curvy woman, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that somebody's making a joke about the bread baskets. If
wow.
You get what I'm saying.
I mean, you're making the joke now.
No, I mean, it's right there.
To the level that Harry needs therapy, I need another beer. So I will consent.
So you don't need one then. Harry's perfectly fine.
We are going to take a little bit of a break. So we'll be back right after this. We are back for the final part of Chapter 10. I'm calling it now. We're going to wrap this up. And we find ourselves in the Three Broomsticks. And everything is just going perfect right now. And then the door opens. And in walk Professors McGonagall and Flitwick, Hagrid, and Cornelius Fudge, the goddamn Minister for Magic himself. And Ron and Hermione, being as ride or die as they are, do not care for Harry's comfort with their next move and shove him under the table. Which, like, look,
good hustle, right?
Good hustle. Absolutely.
You're being a bro.
Team
you're
players.
keeping your friends safe. But if I'm Harry and specifically those people walk in,
Yeah.
you stand up and you go, all right, hey guys, I'm
here.
I made it here. But now that you're here, right? Keep with me. You can keep me safe.
Look, nothing bad happened.
So we're fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Here I am and the world still exists.
Also,
But yeah, I would give up right away.
Also, last time I saw Corny Fudge, he was super cool with me breaking rules and just getting away with it. So we're fine, right?
I mean, gee, as long as there's no paper on this, we're fine, according to that guy. And he's kind of in charge of all of us, so...
No rules have been broken if you don't say rules have been broken.
I mean...
We can just all turn a blind eye. It's fine.
Look, there could be obviously dangerous uses for that argument, right?
Sure.
But in Harry's specific case...
From his perspective...
It's fine.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I do also just want to say the Joro naming Cornelius Fudge the way that she did was ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Corny Fudge is his name. And that just makes you think of a certain kind of poop. And I don't think that's cool. She should not make his name that. And I know I'm making it more like that because I'm pointing it out, but I just want you all to know. I disagree.
Okay, I believe we're done now.
Anyway, what I enjoyed about that was that Hermione magically moved a Christmas tree over. This whole group of people is shortly joined by Madame Rosmerta, who sits down with them, and they immediately start gossiping about Sirius Black. And oh boy, we find out some information here, guys.
Yes, girl.
We find out some information. Rosmerta immediately asks about Black's break-in, and McG turns to Hagrid and asks if he told the whole pub that there was a break-in at Hogsmeade. Break-in at Hogwarts. That's the name. And I hate to say it, guys, but I think this is our proof that Hagrid is the one who let slip that Harry lived Voldemort's attack 13 years ago.
He's the leak.
I mean, okay. I just want to say that seems like a large jump because we aren't talking about that right now.
That's
okay?
true.
On paper, when you write that down, it looks like a large jump. Canonically, Hagrid should not have said that.
No.
So.
Yes, famously canonically, Hagrid shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Fudge says that his presence, along with the Dementors, are to try to protect and catch the Dementors. And McG and Flitwick mention that they are glad that Dumbledore will not let them into the castle. Not to make light of this, but how the fuck are you supposed to teach a bunch of depressed kids? That's not a good environment to teach in.
It's true. They got other shit going on in their brain. They're not going to be open to learning.
Well, Fudge mentions there's something worse out there. And Rosmerta brings up that she knew Sirius Black when he was a child. So Rosmerta is not a young woman. I don't mean to objectify here, but I think we're talking like Selma Hayek. That's now what like Madame Rosmerta is in my head. And I can see where 13-year-old Ron is like, yeah, Selma Hayek's hot.
Yeah, while
So
all
I'll
this
go get the
conversation
drinks.
about Black has been happening, his eyes have not left her.
Yeah.
Breadbasket, like I was saying.
Yeah. But she remembers Black back when he was a young boy at Hogwarts, and she just can't believe that he would turn to the dark side. Like, that is indescribable. In murdering all of those muggles like he did, and Fudge says, you don't even know how bad it actually is.
Which is actually pretty remarkable as well. I mean, I guess maybe it's just a mention of the times, because nowadays, especially, if a murderer had backstory with the Potters, like this whole thing is juicy. This is juicy. And
if the general public knew this, holy shit.
And honestly, I mean, we're going to get into some of the details. Even if they don't know the specific details, if they know that Black was friends with James, even that is enough fodder for media to go off of. So the fact that...
Well, they do know they were friends.
The general public, though.
Correct.
It's not, like, even Harry doesn't know that.
Right.
Everything that he's learned, because it hasn't been like public. Ooh, oh my God! You know that guy that escaped? That guy that was Voldemort's best friend? He was actually James Potter's best friend too. The guy that that's a crazy coincidence. Like that's crazy that the media doesn't have any sniff of that. I mean, the media is different back then, but I'm just saying it's pretty
true.
crazy.
I think this is one where the world building, unfortunately, falls apart a little bit here because it's like everyone at Hogwarts knew that Sirius Black and James Potter were friends.
Yeah.
Those people have now been out in the living world for 13 years.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
All of these people from Hogwarts, and it's like, yeah, how does the Daily Prophet, does no one at the Daily Prophet know or would mention that, like, hey, Sirius Black has escaped?
Extra.
Which probably isn't good news for Harry Potter because Sirius Black was his dad's best friend.
Yeah.
Like, now, but I guess, okay, let's get into it. I think let's get some details and then let's discuss. McG mentions that, yes, Sirius Black was, in fact, James Potter's best friend, and you never saw one without the other. Well, like, almost never. Sirius Black was the best man for James's wedding to Lily and is actually Harry's godfather.
Oh.
Big time.
There's a
revelation here. And just so we get more context here, Hagrid says that, like, the Weasley twins might be on the same level as James and Sirius.
They're infamous in the school.
We started this part 2 by saying, I'm not sure if we should trust George and Fred Weasley.
Yeah.
Which means if James Potter and Sirius Black invited me into an empty classroom, I am not going. I am not going into that classroom.
You know you're friends with Fred and George. You don't know where you stand with these other two.
Hagrid actually
says very worried.
The Weasleys come close, so they weren't even on the same level. They aren't even on the same level that these two were on.
Hagrid says, like, if the Weasleys continue, they might rival that. So even the Weasleys are not there yet.
It kind of makes you worry,
point.
like a funny joke for them, and be like, so then he lured this guy into the gym, and then as a joke, he stabbed him in the fucking throat. It was fucking funny.
Yeah,
it was fine.
They healed him. They healed him before he could die, so it was fine.
Brought him to within an inch of his life. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Nate, it gets much less hilarious from here on out.
Oh.
Fudge lets Madame Rosmerta know that the Potters had known that Voldemort was going to come after him. Dumbledore has spies that told him Voldemort was for sure going to target the Potters.
Yeah.
And he told them that they needed to go into hiding. We find out that they attempted this by using the Fidelius charm. It's an immensely complex spell, okay? And it's where you are able to keep a secret inside a person. So definitely magic here, because, you know, we as Muggles, we kind of do that, but, like, it's a lot easier to get that out of someone.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very difficult thing to extract from someone, and it's by using the Secret Keeper. That is the person who has the secret magically imbued into them.
Oh, it's not just, like, a secret. Like, you know what? I heard that so-and-so cheated on their wife. It's not like that.
Oh, yeah,
it's like that secret that you have ceases to exist to other people until you divulge it.
Flitwick says that you-know-who could search the village. He would be, like, outside looking directly at them through a window. They wouldn't even, like, he wouldn't know, though.
Oh, because
Voldemort would just be unaware of the fact that he was looking at a window.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's very powerful magic. Very, very powerful magic. Rosmerta asks if Black was the Potter's secret keeper, and McGonagall confirms that, even though, guys, Dumbledore himself offered to be the secret keeper.
Dang.
Now, look, I get having best friends. But if someone who is known to potentially be the most powerful wizard in the world, or like at least top 5, and they offer to be my secret keeper, fuck my best friend.
I mean, you say yes. You say yes
say
immediately.
yes.
Yeah. And the reason...
Unless there's somebody else you trust more.
Which is true.
That would be the only reason that I could see why you would have to implicitly trust that person.
And I think there's something to be discussed here. We'll get back to it. We're almost through all the info. But Dumbledore told the Potters he believes that one of his friends is a spy. And I can see where that would make James Potter want to pick one of his friends to be secret keeper as opposed to Dumbledore. Because he's like,
Yeah.
My friends are my friends. They would never betray me.
Right.
Thank you for the offer, Dumbledore, but there is no way Sirius Black is going to talk.
There it is.
Well, barely a week after the charm was performed, the Potters were attacked, and we know how that happened, what happened, who happened, everything. Black had shown his true colors, and it was a traitor. He sold the Potters out.
As a child, this didn't bother me, right? When I was reading it, I didn't read too deeply into it. But Harry knows that Voldemort's already been after. Like, he knows that there's something between him and Voldemort. But up until this point, it's been like, well, Voldemort attacked me, and I kind of killed him. In that, I destroyed him. So that's where that animosity is coming from, right? Now he's finding out that this is a plotted attack by one of the scariest wizards in the whole world, who had probably pretty big fish to fry. Everybody was concentrated around my family. No further questions. Now I'm like, I would be like, why? What did we have that Voldemort was so like hot and bothered about that he had to kill my parents?
Yeah. What was the specific reason?
Mm-hmm.
You don't just do that.
Yeah, why were there spies and all of this involved in trying to kill my family? What was so important about my family? That's not even a question. Which again, when I was reading this as a child, didn't even come in my brain. So I kind of understand why Harry maybe didn't. But also looking back, I'm like, if it was about my family, I might have been like, what about my family though? Skelligro? Is that why?
Yeah. Is it this? Yeah, the secrets of Skelligro? Is that what Voldemort was after?
He wanted to regrow his nose.
17 original spices.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think that's what it's about.
Oh,
but,
damn.
Hagrid, famous for shouldn't have said that, yells and is kind of immediately like shushed. Dude, we're supposed to be talking about like top secret stuff here, Hagrid. Please don't yell. But he does confirm that it was Sirius's motorcycle that Hagrid used to bring Harry to Dumbledore that fateful night, because Black was at the scene of the crime of Voldemort attacking the Potters. And like Hagrid mentions, like, he didn't even think, why was Black at the scene of this crime? How could he, whatever. And mentions he tried to comfort what he calls the murdering traitor, and admits that Black did in fact ask to take care of Harry. Hagrid, in hindsight, is very happy that he did not give Harry over, because he had direct orders from Dumbledore. And we know one thing about Hagrid. He's going to do whatever direct orders from Dumbledore are, always.
Yeah. Hagrid, I mean, we've known that since book 1 when he's got something to do. I mean, the way he stood up to fucking Vern.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I'm here to do a thing. I'm doing a fucking thing.
Hagrid suspects that he would have chucked him out in the ocean. He says something like that in this.
Oh.
He's like, he was probably going to check him out in the ocean right away.
Finish the job.
He was going to finish the job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes perfect sense.
He was,
You're right.
he was saying like it was the perfect disguise of like, I'm Harry's godfather, give me Harry. But that's now with hindsight, Hagrid is like, that's not why he asked. He asked because he was going to try to murder Harry as a baby.
That makes sense.
Because that's who Black is. He's a murderous traitor. He's the dude that later killed 13 people. And we find out about that very quickly, as in right now. Fudge tells Madame Rosmerta that the Ministry did not catch Sirius Black. Not technically. Peter Pettigrew, he is the one who caught up to Black, confronted Black, and that is when the incident happened.
The incident.
This is all according to eyewitnesses, of course. He yells, "Lily and James, Sirius, how could you?" And then he reached for his wand, but Black was quicker, and there was a giant explosion, crater into the ground. McGee even mentions that like Pettigrew was a shit duelist as a kid. Like
bad aim.
She's being a little bit more sensitive than I am, but like she mentions with tears in her eyes of like, he should have let the Ministry do it.
Yeah.
Like that worked out exactly how we thought. Fudge confirms this and says that only trained hit wizards would have stood a chance. He would know because Fudge himself was one of the first on scene after Pettigrew and all of those muggles were murdered. And like he says, there was a giant crater in the ground, muggles screaming, bodies everywhere, cracked all the way down to the sewers. And Sirius Black laughed.
Again, because he probably just did it really cool. It's weird that he's like, I was the first one on scene other than everybody else that was already there.
He's one of them. One of them, yes.
Inflating his role a little bit is what I'm trying to point out. I was the first person there. Like, no, there were other people there who actually witnessed it.
He was one of the first people on scene. That is an important person. Because you don't just send anyone out to an attack like that. Fudge clarifies that Black was taken away. Peter was given Order of Merlin first class, which he thinks comforted his mother. Because, like, Peter Pettigrew was not known as a brave person. And this all kind of wraps up of Rose Merter asking, is Black mad?
Well, fucking apparently.
I don't know why we're asking this question. I really don't know why we're asking this question.
We just had this whole conversation, did we not?
Yeah.
The guy is obviously troubled somehow.
I think it's just probably the disbelief. Like, I haven't personally experienced this, but if you were to find out that somebody that you knew, I mean, maybe weren't best friends with, right? But you had a pretty good relationship with. You were pretty familiar with that person.
Yeah.
And later they turned out to be like a mass murderer.
Yeah.
And they turned on all their friends and family. And you were like, I thought I had a pretty good dinger for who was a bad guy and who's not. And I thought that solidly was a great guy.
I also listen to a bunch of true crime podcasts, one of which is fantastic. And I'm sure everyone's heard of Crime Junkie. But Crime Junkie rule number 1 is that you never know anybody ever. It's always, oh man, nobody ever would have thought he would have. Because you don't. No matter how close or far they are, you just never know.
Yeah, very rarely does the news report go to like, hey, and we're here with their childhood best friend. And then they go, yeah, I knew all along he was capable of murder.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's been saying he was going to do this for weeks.
Yeah, the only reason I'm friends with him was so he wouldn't murder me.
I sent you guys letters. No one answered. It was really frustrating.
That never happened.
Never.
But to both your guys' point, Fudge saw him in Azkaban on his last trip, and he even admits it seemed like the Dementors had no effect on him. Black was normal. He asked Fudge, hey, you done with that paper? I like doing the crosswords. You don't ask those questions when you're in a maximum security prison that is designed to suck your happiness away. You should be a blibbering mess.
When you're in the middle of a depressive episode, you're not like, give me something to do.
We were told that most people go mad in weeks. This just happened. Black has been in prison for years.
12 years.
Over a decade, yeah.
Yeah,
and he's normal.
Over time, I could definitely see how that would eventually happen.
Yeah.
Maybe just because he's a crazy son of a bitch. Whatever it was he did that day.
Yeah.
Sustains him enough to where the Dementors can't fuck with him.
Yeah.
And that begs the question of what, which obviously we don't know.
And that's
but
that's why Fudge wishes he could say yes, that Black is truly mad. But there is other people who are truly mad in Azkaban, and they don't act like Black.
Yeah.
Black is a one of a kind.
He may also be very fucking smart, which is equally scary.
Here's the thing. You would expect somebody to be sad and guilt-ridden if they murdered their friend. Maybe he's just so angry. I think that the prevailing idea is that he's mad. And right now, everybody at Harry took away Voldemort and his chance at being number 2. So the anger of that held him through.
That tracks to me. That makes full sense.
But Fudge brings up another huge thing here he says, I shudder to think how quickly Voldemort could return with the help of Black. Maybe it was just me, but it seemed like a pretty big deal that the Minister for Magic himself is admitting that he knows Voldemort is out there right now. He wouldn't worry about Black escaping and immediately going to Voldemort, but he's like, if Black has escaped, he hopes he's not with Voldemort right now, which I found that interesting.
It is very interesting to note, especially for the coming books, that Fudge has this realization now.
Long-term pen.
Yeah.
Roughly 2 books from now, pen. Book and a half from now, pen. Our favorite thing happens. McG starts Midwesting her way out of there. Goes, well. Slaps her knees and says, well, Fudge, if you're meeting with Dumbledore, we should probably get going. And they do, in fact. Harry is still below the table. Ron and Hermione check in with him.
I almost fucking forgot he was there.
Yeah.
My ass would have been gone 20 minutes ago.
Harry has been under the table the whole time. But they go to check in with him. But to be honest, they're all lost for words. unlike us.
Real quick, I just want to say,
yes,
he needs his invisibility cloak because
Ugh.
he came out of the storage room, the staff-only area, in the middle of the day when there's a lot of people in that store, right? He's got to go back through the tunnel. So if he goes back to Honeyduke's and there's not a lot of people in the store, he's going to have to go, like,
How do you sneak through?
Hey, Miss Honeyduke's, look on the wall! And then run downstairs and hope she doesn't realize where the fuck you went.
Dear Miss Honeyduke, is that a distraction?
It's the scene at the end of the night when they're closing the fucking store and they're like, all right, well, it was nice to meet you, Mr. Potter. You have a good night. And he's just hanging there. Oh, well, I got to close the door now, honey. So you got to leave. He's like, yeah, okay. And he's just walking back towards their closet. Like, no, the door's over there, Harry.
Yeah.
Harry, yeah. And then he just fucking turns around and runs down as fast as they can.
Harry, what are you doing with that crate of candy? Oh, I was going to put it in the cellar for you.
It just occurred to me.
And then you're going to come back up and leave, right? And he goes, no, I'm going to go live in your cellar.
Harry,
don't look for me, though.
Probably hasn't figured this out yet, but as we famously just figured out here live on the show, Dumbledore fucking made that. And so he's going to be like, okay, Mrs. Honeyduke, I'm going to be real with you. I use Dumby's tunnel, okay?
That's the only answer.
You know, and I know what that is.
Harry's been inside Dumby's tunnel.
He's been inside Dumby's tunnel one time.
The whole time.
Just the once. The whole time. And he's like, so I'm going to go back down into your cellar and I will not bother you again. I promise.
Have a great night.
But if you see me again, just know I've got to stay here until everybody else leaves.
Mrs. Honeyduke, you know what? Not even going to try. Fred and George told me how to get in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming you know Fred and George.
Okay.
Yeah. You're friends with Fred and George? Yeah. All right, honey. Yeah. Get into the cellar. It's fine.
You've definitely seen them here after
Just
hours.
Promise
for
me.
Sure.
Yeah. Promise me you won't steal, right? It's fine. But yeah, so we finally get the whole story. Like, he's after Harry because Harry defeated the Dark Lord. It's Black's fault that the Voldemort was defeated because he's the one who betrayed them. It's crazy that Harry never even thinks about, like, why was Voldemort after them. It's just immediately all about Black.
Yeah.
We did it, though. We got through it.
We did it.
We got through it. I feel like as we go, more thoughts are going to come up that refer back to this. I know for a fact we didn't even say everything we wanted to say.
No, there could have been so much more. But much like Harry having to get the fuck out of Honeyduke's, we also have to go. If you wanted to let us know what you thought about this episode or this chapter, you should write a scroll if you'd like and send it by owl to podcastatt@gmail.com or follow us on any of our social medias. If you really enjoyed this episode and you'd like to hear more things like it, you can go to patreon.com/podcastatt and make a pledge there of any amount. We've got tons of stuff over on Patreon that you can enjoy, including side quests and live episodes. Wow, my words are escaping me too, Aaron. It's not just you, buddy. It's fine. So, thank you all very much for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You got any more of that butterbeer?